All right, well, this week for the book club, it's Sparks' turn. Sparks, take it home.
Take it home?
Country Road.
Nope.
West Virginia!
I love that's a fun song.
So we're
Wait, what's
we're
the next
talk
part of the
about,
lyric? I always forget.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
we're going to talk about Black over here. And Brandon, you did not finish it.
I did not.
And Ben, you didn't read it.
I failed you, my master.
That's okay.
Well, that got really dark.
These things happen. So I also had not read this yet. I'd like looked at the stuff doing the Kickstarter and everything, but then once I got the trade, I hadn't gotten around to doing it, and I decided that I wasn't going to read it until we got to do it for
I was
book
looking
club.
for your name, but I'm guessing that's the upper tier
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So,
of Kickstarter people that are mentioned in the book.
but yeah, so the whole premise of this little comic book was in a world much like our own, what if black people were the only people who got superpowers? And that's pretty much the setup for it. My own initial takeaway, I did enjoy it. I like the idea as a whole, and like it's impossible for this not to be a political message.
100%.
You know, and that's good. That's fine. I think
Comics can be political.
my only complaint about it, and it's through nobody's fault at all, is ultimately it's a little Marc Miller-y for me.
Yeah,
and only
that's
in the
a
sense,
good take.
Only in the
Yes.
sense, but I blame Marc Miller more than I blame them, because for them they have to sell this whole thing in 6 issues. That's
Yeah.
all they get. I wanted more time to connect with the characters, to get more of a sense of the world. Things move very fast
It does
because
move
they're
fast.
trying to get you through everything so that these 6 issues
Yeah,
work for you and are a solid story that someone would eventually want to return to.
Yeah, I read 4.5 issues of it before I put it down. And a lot of the scene transitions were very hard to follow.
It's very fast.
Yeah.
But I don't blame them. I understand you're trying to get this whole thing out lickety split in 6 issues because that's all you have. They're not Marc Miller. You know, they don't have big name or big comic company behind them for it. There is no guarantee of anything past this.
Okay, that was going to be my question. So this might be the only volume we ever get.
It very well may be.
That's a shame, because I would like to
Because
see
I don't
more.
know how it's done sales wise.
Yeah.
I couldn't find that information.
I
And-
remember putting the 6 issues in my store when I worked there.
yeah.
Yeah, like comic book stores carried the issues.
Right. Yeah. How'd they do?
I don't remember if they did very well.
See, that's the thing, is like I don't know how well it sold, and like there's intent.
I don't think it's the what I think it is. Who's the publisher? Black Mask.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They put out a lot of books.
They don't do well.
Really?
Not at all.
Oh, that's a shame, because there are a lot of really cool books.
There's a lot like Oni has got is Oni in the early days, because Oni's kind of with their like Rick and Morty and Invader Sim stuff have done much better.
Yeah.
But like Black Mask, I feel
Kind of like Aftershock,
kind of like Aftershock,
like
They just-
independent comics.
They
Yeah.
just don't
Well, I
do
mean,
well.
really, it comes down to end of the day, it's really hard to get a small title comic with a small title publisher to sell.
Yeah.
Because
Just not
for the same reason, like going to movies is hard. It's hard to spend that much money.
Yeah.
And if you're already a person buying a lot of comics in a week, what are the odds that you're going to pick up this unknown for this? You know, unless you are able to be told or sold on what the premise is right away.
And I pick up
that's
a lot of
why-
books,
That's
and-
why I say I follow writers and not
No, it's fair. Yeah.
characters.
I think of all of us, I think I pick up the most number ones to try things out. But even I didn't know about this book, just because there's so many books out.
Right. And I think that unfortunately works against it. And I did enjoy it, but I do think that it's rushing through its story too fast. But I get why.
Yeah.
But
There's
I
a lot of
know,
stuff I really
know
like about
there's
it.
a larger idea at hand.
Yeah.
But they had to get all of this condensed and out.
Yeah.
I would have preferred for this story, because I like everything about it, I just wanted it to take more time.
Yeah.
That's really my only thing about it. Otherwise, I enjoy it.
It is kind of a shame, because like there's a lot of really good character stuff, and then it's like, oh, this is a bunch of fighting now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because,
The art's really good.
Yeah,
like
I wish it was in color, but like it doesn't need to be.
It's very much what X-Men has always been an allegory for, but now it's like, no, we're being
This is
direct about it. This
personified,
is racism at work.
Yes.
And you find out, I don't know if you got this far, Brandon, but you find out that like this at least goes back to the 15th century, that this is the whole reason why slavery happened.
So it's because
they
superhero
knew
population.
that there were people among them who would get superpowers, and this was the way to like curb that.
I thought that was like real sad, but really genius. Really, that was a good hook. Like, yeah, man, why do you think this is happening? It's not. It's like because we're all super like having
the whole reason why that the system seems rigged against black people is because they know that a percentage of them are going to develop powers.
Yes.
And so they're just trying to always stay a step ahead of it.
Kareem Jenkins is the main character.
Yes.
X gonna give it to you. There was not a single DMX joke in this.
There
in this
wasn't.
Book.
No.
It made me kind of sad.
He has.
It's a little My Hero Academia with quarks.
Yeah, quarks.
The super abilities are called quarks.
He has
rogues.
Deca quarks.
He has basically rogues ability. He can take other people's powers.
Right, but they described it as like a quark level they've never seen. So he has like Deca quarks or something like that.
I thought it was hexaquarks.
It might have been.
He has all the abilities, basically.
He has all the quarks.
Yeah, and someone even says later that he copies off of others' abilities. Yeah. So it's almost like a Peter Petrelli from Heroes, but he doesn't lose any of the abilities he copies. Yeah.
He's like the strongest superhero.
He has the potential to be omnipotent, is what they say.
Doesn't Peter keep all the powers he copies?
That was later.
Oh,
yeah.
In the first one, he only had whatever one he had in that moment.
The hero.
Sorry. Anyway, so he finds out like the whole initial setup of like the character bringing him in and like the secret society of here's the powered people, and
it starts with a robbery, and then racial profiling, and these three kids get murdered who aren't the people that these police are after. But it turns out Kareem survived the gunshots.
Right.
This is how he learns. He's a I keep calling him superheroes. He's somebody with abilities.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the detective on that scene, she starts investigating into it, but you find out later that like all the clues were because the leader of the opposite organization, so essentially the Magneto to the Charles Xavier of who the dude who takes Kareem in is,
for sure.
The guy who's essentially Magneto leading the Brotherhood is trying to push for
Oh yeah, the guy in prison.
Yeah.
Oh, both cool guys, man.
Yeah. So O is
magic.
trying to bring about revolution.
He said, "Oh,
I know.
It's very much Magneto, Professor Xavier.
Yeah, he's very much trying to say like, we shouldn't be hiding it. We should be taking it out there and using it. And so that's the conflict. But the way that it's so directly handled is, I think, what's so ambitious about it.
Yeah, definitely. And it pushes buttons. There's a lot of, as a bunch of white dudes, there's a lot of words we don't use in this book. But it feels authentic. Like it feels like if it happened in real life, but like if this were to happen, like this is how it would go down.
Right.
And I really like a lot of the character work. A lot of the abilities and the names of the characters are super unique and cool. We learned that one of the white dudes was a robot.
Right.
I pointed that out.
Yeah,
Yes.
I thought that was really cool. Like Base is like the coolest character. She beatboxes and it's like Black Bolt and shoots out like megasonic waves.
Yeah.
Like that shit is so cool.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I think the strongest issue is kind of the last issue, which is the
The breakout.
Well, the fact that you have essentially the good team of people with abilities, of all the black people with abilities, and then the team of all the black people with abilities who are trying to cause revolution, and they're both like
the
right there
side,
with the
super evil white guy,
the really bad white dude,
and his last name is
the
Man.
super stupidly evil white dude.
He is so racist. Oh my
who's
god,
so racist.
Yeah.
Which it makes sense. I
Yes.
get it. And they are. One side's trying to kill him, the other side's trying to not let him get killed, and all that.
Kareem, our main character X, is stuck in the middle. Like he doesn't know which side to go with.
Yeah, and even then, Man is still trying to take him out, even though he's protecting him. He's like, nah, y'all need to learn your place.
Yeah,
and
there's
that's
a lot
his
of
whole attitude
Yeah.
that he's pushing on him, and yet
he has a sweet ass sword
and
that
yet
comes out of nowhere.
right,
though.
yeah.
he has like super
and yet
technology.
he ultimately can't. Nobody can stop Kareem.
No.
And in the end, O gets what he wants because they use Detective Waters through mind control. They use her. They've been leaving her clues the whole time. They use her to be the person who witnesses and records and live streams the whole incident. So now the world knows that black people have superpowers.
Yeah.
And so what it will be once that happens, because the fear is that once that is out there,
the prejudice will just become more extreme.
O's logic is that then there are people who will know and they'll look for what to do with their power. And then his father's logic is that if that happens, then everyone's going to have an excuse to kill all the black people.
Yeah.
And it'll just be genocide.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be like, what is that?
And
again, I like that in the end, the cool part is Kareem winds up in the middle because he doesn't really agree with either of them.
Yeah.
He doesn't think either way is really the right way. And so he basically becomes a Superman level daredevil because he's just going to be a vigilante on the streets, but he has omnipotent powers. And he's kind of decided, like he says,
the last page, like
says,
it's pretty good.
He says, that one side wants emancipation, the other side wants retaliation. And he says he's got to be something else, someone to represent
somebody that they can't kill.
Someone that they can't kill.
So he can actually
the one that they can't kill, the one they should fear the most.
And that's that again, like not the Mark Miller thing, like not finishing. Like it's not that they can't, or it's not that they won't. It's that they probably can't.
Right.
And it's a shame because I think this really does set up a super interesting world. Like, what is this? The ramifications for the entire world. And like that's a really cool idea.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of the book is set up to get to that point because you're supposed to watch Kareem kind of live between the two ideologies rather than being a part of either one. So he's not an X-Man, he's not a Brotherhood, he's something else with more power than either.
Yeah.
And how he'll handle it.
Yeah.
And I like that as an idea, and I'd like to think that maybe one day there'll be another, but
I can only hope so, dude.
Yeah, who knows?
So Brandon, you were triggered.
Oh, thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah. Well, you didn't finish it, so like people are gonna wonder why didn't you finish it?
I was just gonna let them wonder.
No.
Why didn't you
we're having a discussion here.
It's where I am at, and we talked about it a bit last week on the topic.
My fandom.
Where I am at currently in my life stage, this was too political for me. At times, there are times where I can handle things like this, things that this kind of thing won't faze me, but there are times where I'm in a highly volatile state where this will cause me to be, for lack of a better word, triggered.
Yes.
And unfortunately, where I am at right now, that is the stage where this would affect me in a very negative way. So I unfortunately had to put it down. Hopefully to pick it up again later when I'm through this, but for right now, it unfortunately was too much.
And again, my thing about
I see the world like this.
Yeah,
I see,
the thing. And
I see the world like this, and to me, like
it's very real. We're still having superpowers. Yeah,
I hate the world. It's very painful for me to live in this world right now, and I only see just horrible, the most horrible of nature in human beings. And this book kind of just like put a magnifying glass on it and
how bad white people are.
Dramatized it to a point where I was just like, I see the world like this all the time. I see this in real life. I don't want to see this in my fiction right now.
Yeah, that's 100% fair. My whole thing is about like art should give you a reaction, and that's why I like this book a lot because you don't see comic books like this. This is very real. It's rooted in real problems that the world has, but it has a superhero face on it. So I'm glad you always pick these kind of books that that make you think a little bit more. That aren't just like, oh, I'm just gonna punch you, even though there's punching in this. Like it makes you think like, shit, man, this is kind of messed up. And I like that about it.
It was the burning that really got me.
Yeah, cool.
Because after that I was just again.
It's very extreme.
Again, there will be a time where I will come back to this and pick it up, but it has to be a time when I'm in a more stable condition.
That's fair.
I think it's relevant regardless of like quality of it, which I think it's good.
Yeah.
I do think it's too fast, but I think it's good.
Yes.
That. How cool I think this is. I'm sure there are a lot of black people who like this way more than I do.
Oh, 100%.
And that's really great that there's a comic that even decided to do this. And my favorite thing about it, I think, is that they didn't try to, like, they just go for it.
Yeah.
They don't the burning and everything. Like, they're like, no, this is what this is about. Like, we're not going to, like, dilly-dally around it. And, like, it's, oh, man, isn't it weird that it's all black people? It's like, no, this is real direct.
Yeah.
This is really direct, and this is why it's being done. And I appreciate that it just goes for that.
Yeah,
so.
I do too.
And another day, maybe in another month from now, I would also agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the books where like, man, I'd really like to see another volume come out.
Same.
Yeah.
Like Marc Millar.
I would want another volume of this almost more than Reborn because it's way bolder and crazier.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys wanted to add, or should we move on? Should we get out of here?
I think it's a cool book, and again, I think Bass is a super dope character. Beatboxing Black Bolt, so cool.
Anything?
Yeah. I think that everybody should give something like this a chance, whether it's necessarily this book or something else that's indie. I mean, just keep a sharper eye out for things like this. You know.
When we walked by the IDW booth, was it? It had March. It had all the volumes of March.
Yeah.
Yeah, and March was just like sitting there for people to pick up. I'm like, that's great.
Again, March. It's very similar. I mean, more realistic, but there was
Based on a
More
true story.
realistic.
no. But what I'm trying to get at is that it's at that time in my life I was able to read something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas life fluctuates, and
Not
so
good.
again I will come back to this.
Yeah, I actually feel bad for not reading it. This week at work, I was at overtime every day. I didn't
Yeah,
get
you work at those 12-hour days, dude. It's cool.
It was god awful.
Gotta make
So
that
I
cheese.
honest to God feel really bad that I completely forgot about reading the book club.
Hey,
until,
I
Do
forgot.
you want to still read it? Because you can borrow it.
sure, you live 10 minutes away from me now, so
Yeah.
why not?
for it.
I forgot to read it as well because I had an interesting week.
Yeah.
But you came into my room at like 1 a.m. like, you read that book club? I'm like, nope, let me borrow it, please. So don't worry, I would have read it in the morning very quickly if I had to.
No, I know.
I'm glad I did, though.